I'm Scott L. Miller. It is the 29th of November, 2020. This is Sheep Guarding Llama. Welcome to the show. So last night, so I have to recap, we left Houston on the early side. Paul had left early in the morning. We decided relatively early in the day that we actually had a lot going on, and we were going to be busy the next day, and the Grices needed to get sleep and get ready for school, and it just didn't make sense for us to hang out extra long, mostly because I have this book that I'm working on, which I believe I've had a time to mention on the channel. I am working on writing a book, and my editor had lots of stuff they wanted me to do, so it was time for us to get back and let me get to work on that, because I was just going to be frustrated because I wasn't able to get work done. Oh, it's actually the neighbor, and some Christmas tunes going on, and so we wanted to get back so I could get back to writing the book and stay productive, and it just made sense because always the last day is like there's so much time with the Grices like needing to get ready for school and everything that it's a bit of a problem when we hang out too long, because they need some time to decompress. They have a lot of stuff going on, and we do too. I gotta get back to work on Monday. We all do, so it's just it's good for us to get back. So we decided we were going to leave on the early side, kind of early afternoon yesterday on the 28th. And as we were just heading out, Paul texted to say that they had just delivered the really expensive electronics for Liesel's birthday that we had really carefully scheduled for Monday or Tuesday to make sure it wouldn't arrive while we were gone. It arrived several days early. So had he not headed back, it would have just been sitting outside. So that worked out really well, that he was back. So we thought we had days of buffer before it was going to get delivered, and it was already there. So we drove up, everything normal drive up from Houston, nothing really to report. We did get quite a bit of rain, so it was a very long, slow drive. I did a little bit of GoPro footage while doing so, but it's all very blurry because it was raining the whole time. But I wanted to see how it would work out rain at night in the city. And there's a few seconds of good shots going through the city where there's enough like cool lights, and the water effect is a little bit interesting, but I don't know if it's really usable footage. We will see. But we got home, and the stuff had arrived for Liesel, so we had her go ahead and open her present. Dominica was really tired and wanted to push it off till tomorrow, and I said, this is really, Liesel's time is this time at night, and this is when she would want to be using a new device. We really should do it. And you're like, okay. So we packaged it up, got it ready, and had Liesel open it, and Liesel was very surprised because even Luciana had no idea, because we'd kept this as a secret. It was our idea. I mean, Luciana had mentioned it months ago, but it's been months, and no one had really been thinking about it. So Liesel got the brand new 8th generation iPad that just came out a couple weeks ago, and has the, I believe, the A14 processor. It's extremely fast, really cool new features. The last ones they had, they used to have an iPad first generation. That one died about 2015. And that's the one that Liesel grew up with. When Luciana was young, we got iPad 2s for both of them. And those two both still work, which is partially why we're still willing to buy iPads, because they're quite expensive. But that the second generation ones are still working, and the first one just wore out. It didn't even break. Like, it just eventually got too old and slow, which is acceptable, right, at that point, especially because the first gen lasted for a while before the second gen came out. So that the second gens are still working, but very old, and they're approaching useless at this point. But the batteries are still good, the screen is still good, they work, and the kids have taken care of them. And the only other iPads we've had, I had like a mini, but that one went to my father, so it's not here. And we did have the first generation iPad Air. Now, the Air is like twice as expensive as a regular iPad. That one was super nice. It was about the same age as a 3rd gen iPad, I think maybe a 4th. That one was mine, and that one, somebody, we think possibly the dog at Houston, jumped on it on a couch and destroyed it. So I have not had an iPad for a long time, and of all of our iPads, that is the only one that was not taken care of and got ruined. It was not in a kid protective case because it was mine. Someone was borrowing it, left it on a couch, and somebody sat on it, jumped on it, or something. So other than that one, which Dominica is still very upset about, they've done really good jobs of taking care of the iPads, and we don't know who left it on the couch, right? There is a lot of speculation as to how it got there. But so this is a really big leap forward for Liesel that she's getting this new iPad. And she knows as part of the deal that she got a bit of money for her birthday, and she's going to be using a big portion of that, probably tomorrow, to buy an iPad, an Apple Pencil that goes with the iPad, because the purpose of getting her an iPad is that this is a drawing and art device that there's nothing that competes with, and there's no way for us to get her something that's going to do what she needs for her artwork except for this, because we did a lot of research and we couldn't come up with anything that was not just like more money or really ridiculous or something. It's just, this was really the thing that she needed to have. And so so she's very excited. She used it all night. It seems really, really nice. It does the thumbprint reading, which she hasn't had before. And she's having a lot of problems with her phone. So it's really nice that she has a new device to work with while we try to figure out what's wrong with her phone. So that was last night. Today is the 29th. So that was a whole bunch of what you missed on the 28th. For today on the 29th, hung out in the morning until about noonish. And then Liesl and I went shopping to find her the iPad Pencil. We had tried to get it. We had ordered it and everything. And then Walmart canceled the order because they ran out of them, which is a little bit like, we ordered this. How did you lose the stock, right? But so Liesl and I ran out. We actually started running out trying to find a case, because we can't get, Dominica did some research, found a case that we wanted because we got to protect the iPad, but couldn't get it until Thursday. So we were going to buy a temporary case just to get through for a few days, because they should just be a few bucks. Well, Five Below didn't have any, so we tried going to Target, and theirs were so expensive that we're like, we just have to wait a few days before we buy something. It's amazing how busy the alley is today. And while we were there, Dominica's like, we can't get the pencil. Can you see if they have one there? And they had a huge number, so we just grabbed one from Target. Then as we were leaving Target, we ended up driving out a different direction and driving through Austin Ranch and found what's called Austin Square. And it's just beautiful area of the colony that we've never discovered before. And we were actually looking for a Dunkin' Donuts because we just wanted to get a sandwich. And while going through it, we drove through one direction, and Liesl's just like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And we did a bunch of driving around, and she was having a lot of fun seeing areas near our house that she'd never seen before. And so we came back after Dunkin' Donuts, and we're coming back through Austin Square. And she was so excited. I'm like, do you want to stop and look around? She's like, yes. So we drove through Austin Square and ended up parking in Thousand Oaks, and probably spent an hour walking around and taking pictures and exploring little neighborhoods and looking at apartments and just getting a chance to talk and walk and hang out. We had a really nice time. And while we were there, Dominica needed us to pick up some groceries. So we just went to the Austin Square mini mart in downtown Square and got some stuff there. And it is, I have to say, the coolest bit of Texas I've ever discovered. And I had no idea it was so close to the house. It's actually right up the street from the Shacks at Austin Ranch that I've wanted to go to for forever and have just never managed to go to. So we spent some time hanging out there, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. We discovered the pools and some forested areas and all these different types of apartments, and we walked through them and checked out the stores and the restaurants and just all that stuff. And we talked about it, and she's like, yeah, totally. When I'm older, I might move back here. If I move back to Texas, this is where I want an apartment. And that's certainly where I would want to live. It's the perfect kind of neighborhood, and it kind of reminds you of some stuff in the Northeast. It's very urban-y. It's kind of got an Ithaca, outskirts of New York City kind of feel, but set in Texas. It's really interesting and extremely well done. Beautiful architecture, beautiful landscaping and urban design, lots of fountains everywhere and shops in the middle of homes, and very walkable, and little parks hidden everywhere and places to eat, and really, really well done. And I looked at prices when I came back, and it's actually surprisingly affordable. It's certainly not cheap places to live, but not outrageous either. So that was really interesting, and we had a lot of fun. And she's like, this needs to be kind of our secret father-daughter place. I want to come back here and hang out some before everyone else discovers it and wants to come here. So we had a really nice day doing that, and then that was kind of our afternoon. So we came back, and she started using her Apple Pencil, and it's amazing how well it works. This is a full active stylus, which is why it's $100, which, considering you can get get into an Apple iPad for $320. Now she has the 128 gig, so it's quite a bit more expensive, but having a pencil be $100 is a huge percentage of the cost of a tablet and seems ridiculous, but it's an active device, so it's extremely precise, it's pressure sensitive, it's meant for artists, and so she spent the evening figuring out how to draw and sketch and learning new software. She's got, I think it's called Sketch from Autodesk that she is using, and she likes that one a lot. We also bought her Procreate, which is the professional tool. It is generally ranked the best or one of the best professional drawing tools on iPad, and it's what Valentina knows on iPad. The only things that really compete with it are Adobe's own products, which in some cases it is ranked as being better than Adobe's, and Affinity Designer has a $20 product on iPad that is supposed to be really, really excellent. But this one, Procreate, is $10, and apparently from Luciana, that's what the professionals use, and that's what she should have. So we got her those. I do not want to get her the Adobe software. That is a big problem. Just their ecosystem is ridiculously expensive. It is high quality stuff. I'm not saying it's not. It's just the pricing is absurd, and you don't ever want to learn how to use it because it will make you encouraged to go down really bad paths of expense. But Affinity seems really nice, and if that's something that she needs, we will definitely get that in the future. But that is where we are. So she spent the evening working on that. Luciana did use it some. Luciana is very excited about Liesl having it and is looking forward to the time when she gets hers, which hopefully around May. We also assume that because we're going to be traveling pretty much full time, having really mobile systems and really good tablets is going to be important for the kids because they just need things that really work. When they're home and they have tablets that are a lot more lightweight use, it's not a big deal because they've got computers and TVs and just they can plug in and just all kinds of things. But when we're in cars all the time and always working from limited space, having really nice tablets is going to be important. For me personally, very high on my list, I want to get an iPad mini, but I don't want to do it until the new version comes out. They're hoping, like rumor mills are saying that probably by spring there will be one. That's what I'm waiting for, that and money. But should that be available, I really do. It's time for me to get a tablet again. And I think the biggest thing's obviously one that I don't let the kids use at all, but if they each have their own new one, then that won't be a problem. And I need a mini because the full size is just too big for me. I can't find myself using it, but a mini is small enough that I would just carry it around and use it all the time. Sit on the couch, use it instead of my phone. I think I would never put it down. And for the little bit of time that I had a mini, it was fantastic. It's exactly the right size and type of device for me. So I am very much looking forward to getting one of those in the future.